Hello and welcome back again. Previously, in this particular video, you learn about different data sources and data types. Now let's discuss efficient way of storing and retrieving the data that was collected. As you can see, this is still part of the first step in the data science workflow we defined before. When storing data, there are multiple things to take into considerations. First, we need to determine where we want to store the data. Then we need to know what kind of data we are storing. And lastly, we need to consider how we can retrieve our data from storage. Let's take a closer look into that particular things. So, data science projects could require large amounts of data. At this point, the data probably can be stored on a single computer anymore. In order to make sure that all data is saved and easy to access, it is stored across many different computers. Large companies often have their own set of storage computers called as a cluster or a server on premises. Alternatively, you could pay another company to store data for you. This is referred to as a cloud storage. Common cloud storage providers includes that's Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services or AWS, and the Google Cloud. This services provider or this service provided more than just data storage. They can also help your organizations with data analytics, machine learning, and deep learning. For now, we will just focus on data storage. Different type of data requires different storage solutions. Some data is unstructured like email, text, video, and audio files, as well as the web pages, social media messages. This type of data is often stored in a type of a database called a document database. You might have that kind of an experience in your real world, like handling the Instagram, handling the Facebooks or the Gmail or the Outlook, different kind of the environment your people are using. So obviously you have a great experience for this particular kind of a data. More commonly, data can be expressed as tables of informations like what you might find in a spreadsheet. A database that stores informations in tables is called a relational database. Both of these types of database can be found on the cloud storage providers that were mentioned earlier. Once data has been stored in a document database or a relational database, we will need to access it. At basic level, we will want to be able to request a specific piece of data, such as all of the images that were created on March 3rd or all of the customer's address in Montana. In addition, we might even want to do some analysis, such as a summing, counting, or averaging data. Each type of a database has its own query language. Document database mainly use NoSQL, while relational database mainly use SQL. SQL stands for the structured query language and NoSQL stands for not only SQL. Storing your data is like building a library. First, you need to decide where to build your library that corresponds to a choosing locations, either an on-premises cluster or one of the cloud providers we discussed before, like Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, Oracle Clouds. Next, you need to decide what types of shelves to install to store your books, or the shelf to store your particular books. So the type of shelves will develop on the types of books. This is analogous to choosing between a document database or for unstructured data or a relational database for tabular data. Just like a library might have a multiple types of shelves, you might need to have some data stored in a document database and other data stored in a relational database. Finally, you will need a system for referencing and checking out books. The way you locate and retrieve each book depends on how that book is stored. Similarly, you need a query language to speak to the database. For document database, we generally use NoSQL, and for relational database, we generally use SQL. So in this video, we discuss about data managements and data reading. So this is all about, that is a database management concepts where we can store our data on premises or the cloud domain. So, and what kind of the query language required to speak to the database, like the document database, the new NoSQL required. For the relational database, we require the SQL. So till that time, thank you. We'll meet in the next video where we will discuss more about the data pipelines and all the things. Take care. Have a nice day.